Wow, so you're an Eagle Scout.
I am, yeah.
Amazing. So a few things I'll say to you is I try not to let a lot of things out into the world, some certain things, but I'm ranked pretty highly. I'm an OA brother. I was in Unami Lodge 1. It was very, very, very big part of my life growing up. I was supposed to attend the National Jamboree one year, and I unfortunately couldn't do it because of baseball responsibilities. But yeah, it was a huge, huge part of my life growing up. I'm a Brotherhood member. I never got to Vigil. Are you a Vigil holder by any chance? Or
I am not. No,
He did not do OA.
you didn't do
Just-
OA? Okay.
Just straight Eagle Scout, and then did the very cool ceremony, which actually like really emotional for some reason. I don't know, like something about that Brotherhood is like very emotional, and then
It is. No, it is. It's
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you. That's really, really interesting. I was a big we did Treasure Island a lot in the summer. We did Hart, we did Hawk Mountain, all those reserves. So well, that's interesting. It's great to meet a fellow scout. If I could, I'd give you the handshake but we're not there.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was actually really interesting that I didn't grow up in that world, right? I wasn't an Eagle Scout. I wasn't a scout at all. Not an outdoors guy in any way. And when Tristan was very young, he came home from school. They did the thing at school. Hey, join Scouts, whatever. And he was like, yeah, let me do it. And so we're like, all right, whatever, let's do that. And we did a few. He joined in very young at, Cub Scouts, very, very little. And then the leader quit. So they needed a leader.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, well, fuck it, I'll do it.
My son wants to keep doing it.
Yeah, I'll do it. So, and I did it. And I actually got to see him through very early Cub Scouts all the way through to Eagle Scout. And I was the leader the whole time, one of the leaders. And, I learned probably just as much as him. Like, it was crazy going on campouts and doing all of that. So it really was. It was actually a very special thing that we did together.
Don't you,
It was great.
you have to know how to tie knots or carve wood
There's a
and
lot of
shit.
things to
Like,
learn, dude.
Yeah.
how did you become the leader without any qualifications?
You just did. It's volunteer. So it's whoever's going to do it.
It's like becoming a parent. They just hand you the
Yeah.
baby. As long as you have a car seat, you're good to go.
It's like if you take it seriously, you kind of self-teach yourself, right?
Yes, for sure. Like you could learn on the job, but
You just
there was
figured it
no
out, yeah.
there was nobody above you checking qualifications and stuff like that.
So you were
So
the
like I
scoutmaster?
have no I have no
idea.
idea what you guys are talking about at all. So like is this like the water buffaloes and the Flintstones?
No. So when I was pretty fortunate. A lot of our scoutmasters were former Vietnam vets. I shouldn't say that. Excuse me. They were Vietnam vets is what I should say. So to them, a lot of it was like being in the Army. And I don't mean like it was regimented, like they would make us like stand there at attention and be ridiculously disciplined. But when we went out and camped, like they taught us survival. That was the cool part about when I was in. Like we used to do
Who
this.
taught you the dryer lint starts a fire? Because that shit didn't work.
So that was one of the scoutmasters.
That absolutely does work.
It was for some reason he
worked for
can't do
me.
it yet. I don't know.
How do you mess that up? That's like the easiest way to start a fire.
Dog, I was collecting
kidding me?
lint in the dryer for a month and a half. Mush is like, yeah, we got a fireplace out back. And Mush is like, put
Are you
fucking
kidding
dryer
me?
lint in the thing. And like an asshole, I got this Ziploc bag of dryer lint to the right of the dryer. I put a whole, like,
I
it
just
would choke
realized something.
choke a cat. What?
You put like 4 big pieces of wood in there and then put the dryer lint in and lit the dryer lint and nothing happened.
Correct.
Mass,
What did you
have to
mean
use-
for me to do?
have to use something called kindling because those big logs are not going to catch fire just from the dryer lint.
That was the whole point of me collecting dryer lint in a bag like a douchebag for fucking a
No,
month and a half,
the
cuz.
point is, so you don't have to use an accelerant that smells, but any fire that's being started still
here you
needs
go.
kindling.
If we
Here you
do
go.
Naked and Afraid, I'm not on Massey's team.
No, absolutely
Here you
not.
go. Here you go.
Absolutely not. We do have to ask Tristan one more scouting question real fast before we move on.
Yeah.
But if you have either the rifle shooting merit badge or the shotgun shooting merit badge, I'm going to kill you.
Actually, don't even remember.
I don't
Like,
think- he
I don't think I
doesn't.
had either of those.
If you had these, they're like the 2 hardest.
He
So
doesn't.
I don't
you
think
have
so.
to get the rifle shooting merit badge, you have to hit 3 shots inside of a quarter.
I definitely didn't do that.
I'm like, wait a minute. Isn't that the Navy SEALs training? I'm like, how is a 13-year-old kid?
Somebody needs to outline for me what the definition of survival is for these motherfuckers. So,
No, it's crazy. I
is
will
it
say
like
that
the mob where once you get in, you never get out? Are you guys all still actively doing this?
I'm not actively, but you
I
can
still
be.
camp. I camp.
Yeah.
So the big thing is the OA. The OA is kind of lifelong. Like you can pay dues and go to meetings, and the Order of the Arrow is kind of like the secret society of scouting. So you basically get voted by your fellow scouts, and then when you're at summer camp, they have this thing called like a tap out. And I think I was telling you guys about this. Like basically your scouting buddies, your troop, they give the person your sleeping bag, and that's basically it. All right. And they go set your sleeping bag somewhere in the middle of the woods for the night. So it's this big Indian ceremony. All right. Scouting's real big on, or the OA, excuse me. Order of the Arrow is real big on Indian traditions, Indian lore. Okay. So they get dressed in like full garb, full Indian garb. They come around and they come behind you.
This is legit. I have pictures of.
Do you have a picture of yourself dressed as an Indian?
No, I was never dressed as an Indian. I got
You're not in
there.
OA.
So
when they come to you,
so you stand there and they walk behind you, and the next thing you know, they stop and you get 3 taps on your shoulder, and next thing you know, they pull you out of the line, and you cannot speak for the next 24 hours. All right, you cannot eat for the next 24 hours, and you have to do like 12 hours of service of hard labor.
So after the duck duck goose, it's like hazing in college.
Kind of, yeah. They bring you to where your sleeping bag is, and it's dark out. And they point, and you sleep there, and they come get you in the morning. But you have to spend the night out in the wilderness on your own. I was lucky they put my sleeping bag right on an anthill that I found that out at about 2 a.m. in the morning. That was fabulous. But yeah, I mean, especially when you're like a 12 or 13-year-old.
I was gonna say, yeah, when I was young, I was freaked out because I was like, if I get inducted, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
This almost seems like a cult at sometimes, but like. It really
can
freaky.
be. When I look back at it, it's because unless you're inducted, you have no idea what goes on.
Yeah.
Nobody talks. Like there's a different handshake. There's different bylaws.
Yeah.
There's a different motto. There's a different creed. Everything is different from regular scouting.
I was going to ask Tristan. Sometimes it depends. Like, you see like movies, kids want their parents to drop them off on the corner and stuff like that. They get embarrassed. But if you were scared at certain times, I guess, did you feel better that your pop was there with you or?
Oh, well, 100%. Like,
yeah.
I will be honest with you. Like, he really not like held my hand through like the entire thing, but like if I ever needed anything, he's just right there on the leadership thing. I would be like, all right, let me just go tell my dad something or ask him something.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was definitely an easier process because he was there. That's what that was.
You think you would have? Are you still doing it to this day?
I'm not currently.
Do you think you would have done it as long as you did if he wasn't there with you?
Absolutely not. There's no way.
That's cool.
Maybe like I would have went into like the Boy Scouting thing, but like there was a couple times where I was telling him like, hey man, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore, yada yada. But he said he always kept me going and kept motivating me to keep getting my Eagle Scout badge.
It opens doors.
What's the difference between boy and eagle?
No, yeah,
there's not a lot of Eagle Scouts. I mean, it's a rare
definitely
thing.
Draws eyes to a resume. On a resume.
What's the difference between boy and eagle?
Eagle Scout's the highest rank you can attain.
Yeah, you complete it.
And it's
not easy.
And I could be wrong. I want to say like 10% of scouts, and there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of ever get to that point.
Yeah,
you have to earn a certain amount of merit badges. You have to do a community service project. It's not like a day project. Like it could take a month, 2 months, 3 months. Depending on what you're building. A lot of people build things for like churches or for schools.
Do you guys sell snacks like the Girl Scouts?
Popcorn and other random.
I remember buying the popcorn from you guys. It's at work. Yeah.
I mean,
we
our
did
troop wasn't big with it. Yeah.
And then you pay dues. Like once a month, you'd pay like $5 to the troop, and they would, escrow that money. And then when you went on camping trips, that bought all the food. Or depending on like our troop, like I said about Survivalists, we were real big on the scoutmasters didn't cook for us. We brought our own food. So they taught us basically about like what I would do is that's when I learned about Ziploc bag cooking. All right. So instead of trying to fool around with a fire at 11, 12 years old, I would pre-cook all my meals, put them in the Ziploc bag, freeze them. And then at the campsite, all I had to do was boil water and drop the Ziploc bags in the water.
You got to thaw out. Yeah.
Cool.
But it's interesting that they, from my perspective, watching the kids, and I wanted all of the kids to get Eagle Scout, right? I wanted them to move forward, but just to watch them literally be on your own, as parents, it's a tough line between like telling them what to do and showing them what to do, and then watching them actually do the correct stuff, right?
Yep.
And on these camping trips, and I'm not even kidding, like a kid would hurt himself and Tristan would out of the blue just perform first aid, right? And do all of these things where, you know, you're just like, shit, like they're like you're actually watching them become, you know, like men and
Yep.
and whatever. And it's
Young
a
adults,
strange
yeah.
it's a strange thing to witness, but it's the coolest thing ever.
Well, it's funny you say that. I mean, to this day, you know, I am not an EMT. I'm not a paramedic. But if I was ever at a car accident scene, I know for a fact, just from all my years of scouting, that from the first aid training, that I know that I could prevent that person from going into shock. I would know how to go through the first 3 steps of triage. Like, you know, I could probably keep them calm and do the first 1 or 2 things until the paramedics got there. You know, because what is first aid? Anybody know the definition? Mass, wait till you hear it. It's the easiest thing in the world. The definition of first aid is aid that is given first.
There you go.
That's crazy. So if you have boy and eagle for men, do you have girl and like phoenix for women?
That I do not know.
I don't know anything about the Girl Scouts,
idea.
but girls are actually allowed to join Boy Scouts now.
You
so
guys
it's a
never
totally
got
different
together
world.
for like a party or something?
It's a completely different
Totally
organization.
different thing.
My God.
They don't intermingle very often. I'm assuming.
No.
All right. So what was the craziest shit you ever did as an Eagle Scout, Tristan?
That I ever did.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was I ever did, but there was an experience at a camp. My dad knows this very well. It was like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. at summer camp, and it was the biggest thunderstorm I think I've ever experienced. It was
2 different thunderstorms.
really okay. Like our campsite is at the bottom of the hill, the complete bottom of the campsite. So we just got flooded immediately. There was trees falling on other kids' like camp tents, and I'm like, we're about to go. This is the last time on Earth.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is what we're doing. It was crazy.
How
It
old
was
were you at
insane.
this point?
16, maybe 15.
Wow.
Yeah. See,
That was a
mine
rough
was
night.
we
That
used
was
to,
really rough.
and you guys, I mean, it's a thing in scouting, but not everybody does it. We used to do the 50 miler, the 50-mile hike. And that was like something you got a badge for to put on like your uniform. You know, it was like, I don't know if you guys remember the mile swim that they always had at every summer camp. You could always try to do that. I did that once too. Yeah, that was a nightmare. But
Yeah, that sounds like a
the
nightmare.
50 miler, we went away for 7 days. We went up to, I want to say, was it Williamsport? We were somewhere around there. And we would go out 10 miles a day, 5 days in a row, but you go different directions. You go 5 miles out, 5 miles back. And I remember the one day is when we found out. Remember Jerome Brown from the Eagles who died? He was the defensive lineman.
99.
Yes, I remember that we found out he died on one of the hiking trails.
I thought you were going to say you found.
We were walking. down
Y'all
one
wanna
of
see a
these
dead body?
trails up in like the Williamsport area. It was actually like a road, but there were woods on each side. So we decided just to walk on the side of the road to pick up more time. And a guy comes by. He's like, "Hey, where are you guys from?" And we tell him Philadelphia. He's like, "Hey, you're not going to believe this. Jerome Brown just died." Yeah, so I'll always remember that. Like,
Wow. I'm like guessing your age because that was what, like 1990, 1989?
82. I was probably 10 years old, 10, 11 years old. So 10, 11 years old, and I walked 50 miles in a week.
Yeah.
And I remember coming back to
this weekend.
coming back to the campsite. You'd get there back at like 4:30. You'd eat dinner, and every night you'd be out cold at like 6:15.
Yep.
Yeah,
I've never walked as much in my life. Like when I went to summer camp with Tristan, it was no joke. I was definitely the thinnest I've ever been. That was some healthy.
Your
shit.
dad was thin with a full head of hair when I met him 20 years ago, cuz he was probably in the prime of his fucking Eagle Scout mastery.
Yeah, probably.
7? Were you guys still doing it in 07?
I don't
Yeah,
think
you
we
had-
started. No, we didn't. No, we didn't start it then. Tristan was,
I was 3.
3 years old. He was 3 years old.
Okay, all right.